Hi everyone. On the occasion of Teachers' Day, we at Inner Light decided to have an interactive discussion with all of you on the many facets of life that teach us different lessons as we grow into it. Life is all, as we always understand, is a continuous learning experience, and today we're going to be discussing just a few elements that help us, call it or consider it to be our best teacher. Of course, we're trying to have this discussion in an endeavor to learn and grow together. And I'm going to be inviting Dr. Rajiv Anand with me just a minute. As some of you are aware, Dr. Rajiv Anand is a senior psychiatrist and a psychotherapist, also a medical director at Inner Light Counseling Center. Good evening, doctor.
Yes, good evening, Rashi. Yeah, shall we start?
Yes, yes. Can you hear? Is my audio as well as visual clear?
I can hear you, even though
Okay.
you are shining more in the light than my face is visible. If I can see myself as less visible.
Okay, no.
Uh,
The audio and the video both is absolutely clear at your end as well.
Light, Kamari, is dark.
Okay. Before we jump into a discussion, I'd like to ask you first, Doctor, about your thoughts on Teachers' Day. Of course, it's been more than 4 decades, maybe, since you were conventionally in a college setup and working closely in close quarters with teachers. But according to you, from your experience, what is the value of teachers in one's life, and how does the place of teachers kind of contribute to our lives in significant ways?
Okay, this is theoretically right that I used to be in the college between, let's say, about between 67 onwards till about 80 or so. So it's almost 40 years that I left the academic education.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, nobody can say that I'm not getting educated. That
Yeah.
was a conventional education.
Yes.
That was an academic education. And like all of us would agree, that we have been laying so much emphasis on these days on degrees of MBAs and BBS and MSc and BTech and whatnot. And it's quite fair about it. That nothing wrong with that, that we should get education and we should get good degree, we should get good academic qualification. But let's also accept that these degrees or these education which are provided in the college is just one little part of total education. It is not total. And that's where why more and more of us are finding more and more difficulties in living life on day-to-day basis. We, the therapists or the counselor or the psychiatrists, we every day come across people who are highly educated, who are well placed in the society, who are drawing huge pay packet, who are having huge income per month, who are intellectually very gifted. And that's where give us pain that their life is not as stable or as happy as they deserve to be.
Right.
Or they have difficulties in a relationship, or they have difficulties in married life. And that's where we always keep on wondering what is going wrong, what is missing in the life. That makes us look deeper and see call life. And as such, the word university,
Yeah.
university, we are missing out on some point that after the academic education provided by our respectable, adorable teachers who have given us their best, and we bow down before them because today, whatever we are and whosoever we are because of our teachers.
Significant. Their significant contribution. True.
They sensitized us, they prepared us, they pushed us like mother bird pushing a small bird baby bird.
True.
Then the baby bird has to fly on our own, explore the sky on our own.
Yeah.
So our teachers.
Give us just a second, and we are back there.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry
Sorry,
about the.
sorry for this technical glitch and courtesy internet and courtesy other factors beyond our control. Anyway, let's begin. How's about 5 minutes to
Oh,
wait?
So we were actually talking about the role of teachers in the conventional sense earlier, and of course, needless to say that, like you were mentioning, that they play a significant role in giving us a platform or a point to start off from. I think, especially the last 6 months, teachers have had such a change in their way of working and the challenges that they've had to face and adapt to it, and also be able to deliver. There has been a newfound respect and a significantly positive sentiment that most people have towards the role of teachers, especially parents who are having to now teach their children at home. So, before we start out this program and before we start out this discussion, on behalf of Inner Light, a very happy Teachers Day to all of the teachers who are contributing in the conventional way, unconventional ways, extracurricular activities, everything we salute to y'all. Going beyond the curriculum based learning, Doctor, I'd like to ask you, I mean, we all throughout our lives we keep rising and falling. We have experiences that we learn from. We learn from our own experiences, that of others, and of course there is a huge difference in what we learn out of books and textbooks, or our courses, and what we learn from the practical experience of life. So what would your thought be in terms of how life plays a role as a teacher for us in general? I mean, as we go forward, we will of course discuss some elements in more detail, but how would you describe life as a teacher?
First, let me say, what's the meaning of life?
Mm-hmm.
Let me elaborate what's the purpose of life. Because for large number of people, getting a degree, getting a good paying job, getting married, having a family, having comfortable home, that is all about life. So once they ensure that they have an academic degree in their hand and they have a job in their hand, they feel they have achieved everything whatever was possible in life. But within no time, they keep on experiencing frustration that something is missing, something is missing. This is not life we have aspired for. This is not what we were hankering for. We are not happy. We are not finding settled. What is missing? That what they had thought life, they are enjoying only a slice of the life. If that word can be used, if we sit on a dining table and we just eat a plain roti and try to chew it and believe that this is our dinner, then very soon we should realize that this is not dinner. Life is too big. Life means we should learn to be a part of a bigger cosmic world, bigger universe. We should bring the best out of us. We should give our best to others. We should be able to get the best out of others. We should be able to connect with as many as possible people.
I think so. What you are emphasizing on is also like a more holistic approach, where we're not looking at only one area of life and the whole and soul, or kind of depending our happiness on just one facet of our life, whether it is one's career or it is a relationship. As soon as it kind of becomes dependent on just one aspect of our life is where things start becoming lopsided.
In fact, very interestingly, these days we often hear this as a slang, I know. So what we have thought that knowledge is education. So we have conveniently replaced, or rather eased out or phased out, the life teachers. Because what we have begun believing, I'm saying we on behalf of many people, that as if the knowledge can be gained through so many other ways, why to depend on teacher? Why to depend on life teacher? That's a very, very sad part of it. If we think that knowledge alone is good to make our career or make our life better and beautiful and happier and successful, grossly mistaken. We are grossly mistaken somewhere.
Yeah.
The life is too
started with, when I was introducing the topic, that's what I also said, that life is I mean, it's nothing but a continuous learning experience. And the moment we think of it as a learning that has been completed at any point is where the mistake happens. So maybe it also makes sense to make a shift, be able to shift our perspective or our perception of life from just, because we do see many people who do that, who kind of feel like they are done gaining knowledge or they are done learning per se. They do tend to victimize themselves often, and they do tend to feel helpless from what's happening in life. So maybe there's also a need to shift perception from just being a spectator and just watching passively watching life pass you by, and moving from that to actively engaging with life's experiences and learning from it. I think that's what we are also trying to emphasize here, that be alert enough and be mindful enough and interested enough to learn from every experience that you have in life. So moving from the role of just being a actor to now being a screenwriter and a director, to taking the control in your hand to write the script or to plan what you want for yourself is also somewhere what you are talking about.
What you have said, Ms. Rashi, is a very, very valid and very interesting point. That life means not just knowledge. We need this very significant shift in our perspective or in our perception. In fact, if we would think that knowledge would make our life better, that's a grossly mistaken notion. Because very often knowledge is becoming the obstruction in experiencing life.
True.
Life has to be experienced in as many as huge, as many as colors. Life has to be experienced because you have to connect to life in so many different ways to really enjoy the life. What is happening? If I think I am knowledgeable, then this knowledge is making my head swollen. It's
Becoming a block.
Becoming a block. Making me feel, making me think, making me believe that I am one up than you. I know more than you. There's a distance between me and you. There's a huge difference between your caliber and my caliber.
Right.
Between your level of education. So life is being divided. That's why world over people are falling apart more and more.
Yeah.
In smaller groups. To the extent that very, very tragically, all of us are witnessing about it. The earlier we used to call society, we used to call community, we used to call that Biradri, we used to call it that social group. Then we came down to the large family, then we came down to the family, then we came down to the couple. And today the sad part is that even the couple are two heads living under the one roof and both believing that I can't, why should I bow down before him? Why should I adjust before him?
I think what you mean is that knowledge is making people very individualistic instead of belonging to a larger community or belonging in a way that you can experientially grow together.
Let me elaborate this point just in about a minute or so. Learning and growing, learning and growing, learning and growing is a kind of a cycle, like a wheel, like a wheel. As long as we are learning, like a wheel, two halves, upper half and lower half. Upper half is moving, lower half. As long as we are learning, we are growing. As long as we are learning, we are growing. As long as we are growing, we are happier.
Yeah.
As long as we are growing, we are happier. We are happier. We are making others also happy. As long as we are growing. The irony is this, that the so-called theoretical education or so-called knowledge-based education has reduced the potentiality of our learning further beyond curriculum, has scuttled our possibility of growing further beyond our degrees. And then once we are not growing, once we are not learning, then the softness has disappeared out of us. The humanness have disappeared out of us. The kindness have disappeared. The compassion has gone away. Our ability to connect to the next human being, to the next individual, who may be even my wife or even my husband. We are two highly educated people, but we are two highly educated individuals.
I think in that we start looking at ourselves, or people generally start looking at themselves as their their highest qualification. So they see themselves as a pilot. I see myself as a doctor. I see myself as an engineer. So to be able to see yourself as a human and relate to another individual with the kindness of, of a human, and with the kindness that you would like in terms of social connect with another person, gets lost in just playing the role of your profession per se. One question that we received here also was something that I was going to touch upon, that as we grow in life, I mean, life throws us in different situations where we have to adapt to change. Even if we know that change is inevitable, still we know that people are really fearful of change, small and big ways. So how should one look at change in life, or change, the transition in different parts of our life, as a learning experience? How would you describe for change to be a learning experience? Because I feel like that's something everybody goes through without exception in one or more areas of life.
Very interesting part, the word change. The word change. Because whole universe, the major factor, moment you use the word universe, the major factor is constantly, eternally changing.
Correct. Yeah.
You can't catch hold of the air of 2 years back and hold in your hand and say, this is the air which was of 2018. You can't catch hold of water from Ganga river and say, this is Ganga Jal of 2 years back. That is a stale water of 2 years back. So every moment, everything is changing. Now, we realize the change is the other facet of life. When we realize, please listen this point clearly. I request everyone. When we are part of a bigger process called change, called life, we are part of a bigger process of change, which is happening in a part of the life, then we are happy. When we try to change others based on our education, based on my knowledge, based on my concept, based on what I know. So husband changing wife, wife changing husband, parent changing children, children changing the parents, and vice versa, there's a stagnation. There's a stalemate. So knowledge has brought stalemate or stagnation in the relationship. Knowledge has created stagnation in life. While if the change would continue to remain on change, then we would be livelier. Why I should think of changing my subordinates? Why I think should attempt to change anybody in my family? Why I should keep on expecting that I am more knowledgeable, so I should have the right to change
Or
others?
the
No.
control.
Change process, I am also part of a change process over the years. They are also part of the change process, maybe a relatively variable degree.
Correct.
So I accept they are changing, my changing, I'm also changing, they are also changing, I'm also learning, they're also learning. So I would happily accept them. Okay, just let me finish this part. Let me finish. Moment we call it life as a teacher, the moment we accept life as a teacher, and a much, much bigger teacher than any professor in any university, and they have done a wonderful job. I remember I'm still in touch with my teachers, even after having left Department of Psychiatry, King George Medical College 40 years back. And I'm still in touch with all my teachers. I remember my teachers who have given me basic education of grammar in English or Hindi. They have done a great job, and we bow down before them. Much beyond that, life has made us learn to accept things as they are.
Right.
The basic tenet of life is acceptance them as they are. So once we allow
I think
life
your
to
answer to
teach us,
change being the key element of acceptance, whether it is
acceptance,
change happening to me in my life, to accept it with faith and trust in a larger power. And even when we talk of changing people around us or elements of our world or our surrounding, acceptance towards that, even to be more accepting of people and things around us, to not try and change or control that as much.
that's where you would watch it, you would observe it with much greater appreciation. The people who are educated and experienced people, not merely academically educated, but experienced people, their stature is different because they have acquired wisdom to accept the world as it is, the people as they are, the society, every ill of the society as it is. So they have a much greater acceptance and forbearance and tolerance. So they are really educated people. They are not academically educated people. Well, on the other hand, we have people who are educated academically, but they have not been exposed to this subtle aspect of experience-based learning. Then they have questions, they have dogmatism, they have fundamentalism, they have logics in their mind, they have intolerance even about each other's behavior if they are married or if they are on the way to the marriage. So non-acceptance, intolerance, I being right, one-upmanship, all this is a part of that we are getting disconnected from the nature, which is the greatest teacher. The topic what you have selected and you asked me to talk about it, the nature is the greatest teacher, life is the greatest teacher. By disconnecting from it, we are the loser.
Correct.
Life will not lose anything. It doesn't matter. We are the loser because we are, like the gym example, we are just building a body and beyond that, nothing. Let's go back to life in as many a shade as possible. Let's hand us over to, let's surrender to the life, not merely sitting on the crown of that I'm educated with my so much of degree. Over to you.
Yeah, somebody's asked a question. I'm just quickly going to address that before we move to the next topic about change itself. That let it not be misunderstood that they're, changing yourself for the better, whether it is changing your behavior, changing your thoughts, changing something that helps you improvise your life at a personal level is always going to be good. So I don't. I'm just going to quickly address. Just thought I'll take that up so that there's no confusion about what we were trying to address. Moving a little bit to the youth, Dr. Anand, because it's often believed that people say that, we learn our lessons late in life, or, oh, if only we had been told this earlier. And especially for the younger people who are watching this live or a little later, what is one thought? I mean, I have a few thoughts also because I work a lot with, the younger generation as part of our therapy sessions, but so do you. What is your thought on, some things or some lessons that the younger generation can keep in mind in terms of what to look at as, preventively or prospectively prepare as a life lesson?
First of all, let me say that I feel at times envious of the young people of the current generation because they are the most privileged and the brightest ever. And privileged in the sense because they have access to the best of wisdom which ever existed in this world, ever, is now accessible to them, available to them. At the flick of a finger, whenever they want, 24/7. Which we didn't have that kind of access. We didn't have that. So if they want, they can have access to best of wisdom in any field, in any area. Part one. Part two, compared to any other country, we in this country are much more privileged because we still have that custom, that tradition, the system of taking our elders along, whatever it had been significantly reduced, yet we have a system of being connected to our parents, to our elders, to our seniors, to our grandfathers. Now, the message to the youth could be that they are very gifted, they are very privileged to get such higher education, which great grandfathers and grandfather and father had never ever dreamt about it, that their children would get such high education, be it in IIT, be it IIM, be it foreign degree, be it masters in USA and so on and so forth. But that each of this young person who is bright in his own right, and I have absolutely no negative comment about them, if they could pack and leave behind their knowledge for a while, and for a while only, let that knowledge not come in the way, and let them open themselves, let them be receptive about the whole world, life, children. Watch as many possible things happening around, be it a waterfall, be it the ocean, be it the beach, be it the river, be it the birds, be it even the frog, be it even the cow, be it even the poor person, be it people who are living in some much less income, much less finances, and they are surviving. They are much better able to struggle through life without any making any noise. while we people keep on cribbing about it.
Yeah.
Life support
Like
them.
expanding your horizons to more than just what,
Life
uh,
support them.
yeah.
If those who connect to the life in so many different ways support them to live better.
True.
Irony, last 6 months of this so-called lockdown period, which has made almost everybody sit down in a universal class to learn certain lessons which we were reluctant to learn otherwise. And very often it makes us look inside. Aren't there lakhs of people who do not have means, who do not have
Yeah.
enough sustenance for next 6 months or next 4 months or next 2 months, and yet they have the reserves in their emotional strength. They have various other kind of support system. They are surviving. Many people, many of us who are gifted or privileged, or those who think that we have financial reserves, may not be happy, fearing what may happen a year later, economic slump, whatnot kind of a language. So if we connect to the life being not only merely theoretically a best teacher, life takes us in its arms, and life takes us ahead, making it much easier, much softer, much more comfortable. And the purpose of saying these sentences aloud is why more and more people are unhappy, miserable. They keep on asking why. The answer is look into, are you disconnected with life? If somebody had a bathroom right in the house and you do not take bath for a year and ask why I fall sick. If somebody's house is next to a river and somebody hasn't taken bath for months and say why I'm so, in somebody's house is next to a waterfall and can remain with unwashed clothes, unwashed hair and say why do I have this?
True.
The answer too is to be described. The nature is abundance. Life in so many hues and colors is ready to nourish us, ready to provide us the best. It's we who have to open up, dropping our knowledge. Because with knowledge comes the ego.
Yeah.
Ego is the biggest block. Ego would
I think
make me
I'm
think
gonna
that,
add, yeah. Sorry. Continue. Please
ego
come.
would make me think that I'm different than you. Ego would make me think my age is different than you, my qualification is different than you, my
Yeah.
caste is different than you. Ego is the one which is connected with the knowledge. So if
Correct.
we learn to grow beyond knowledge, go beyond ego, and open ourselves with life, we shall be a better human being. We should be a better husband. We would be a better wife. We would be a better teacher. We would be a better brother or sister or whatever. That's what the purpose of life. Life wanted us to be better in every field. Life didn't want us to remain stagnant. As I said a few minutes back, change. Change is the principle of life. Life always wants us to grow. And that's
Right.
possible when we would not be stagnant with what I know. What I know.
Right. I completely understand that. So we are also like I said earlier, talking about tapping different avenues and trying to look at, broadening our perspective on looking at life from more than just what you do, more than just one role, but many other aspects. I mean, especially for the youth, I think some of the other things that the youth should and can be mindful of is taking care of the self from a very young age, whether it is in with the ideas that you have spoken of kind of connecting with nature, connecting with people, and with the different elements of life, or also from a point of view of building the right habits young, whether it is health, being the most valuable asset, we say mental health, physical health, emotional health, these aspects. And I also would like to add the aspect of self love, because we see this so often that young people, young clients we have, self confidence is a very fundamental issue, and having a healthy self esteem or keeping that as a lesson for life, that this is something I want to also kind of work towards, where I am able to show love towards myself, show love towards my own growth, show acceptance and respect towards myself. It's only going to help me connect better with the different other elements that we are talking about, in the absence of which I feel like people lose out on being able to connect with others because they get too consumed by their own thoughts and negative thinking patterns. So for sure,
Let
and
me
yeah, sure, please add.
let me throw more light on this word. What you gave me the cue about self-love.
Mm.
In fact, most people do not need psychiatrists. Most people do not need counseling. They reach a stage when they need a psychiatrist help or counseling help because they have not understood the concept of self-love.
Mm.
Because they have not introspected, they have not understood themselves very well, they have not understood their own instincts, their own impulses, their own chemistry, their own psychology, and they were allowed it to go haywire to the extent when their day-to-day behavior
Mm.
become difficult to live with.
Mm.
Then they go and then they need psychiatrists. But also be aware what psychiatrist or what counseling can do. अगर इंट्रोस्पेक्ट नहीं करेंगे और खुद अपने आप का सेल्फ लव नहीं बढ़ाएंगे और अपनी लाइफ में डिसिप्लिन नहीं लाएंगे, no psychiatrist can help. I am a qualified psychiatrist. I have been treating people for the last 42 years. I know what I can do and what I can't do. And I know how I can encourage a person to begin loving himself or herself so that he or she can take charge of his own emotions, own thoughts. तो मैं
Right.
खाली एक प्रेस्क्रिप्शन लिख कर दे दूंगा कि तुम 1 महीने के बाद आना, उससे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. आपके पास फाइल मोटी होती जाएगी मगर आप वहीं के वहीं रहेंगे. आप कहेंगे हमने इन डॉक्टर आनंद का भी इलाज कराया. आई डोंट वांट टू बी दैट डॉक्टर. Unless you are keen to bring transformation within you, which has to happen within you, you have to allow more and more life to flow through you. As much as life would flow through you, as much as you would experience life, as much as life would flow through you, as much as glow would be there on your face. Please remember these two words in connection. Flow of
Flowing
energy,
and yeah.
flow of life, and the glow on your face.
Hmm.
Both are interconnected. And as much as energy would flow, as much as livelier you would become. And as much as livelier you become, as much as sickness would remain far away from you. Why we have so many anxieties? Why we have so much depression? Why we have so many suicidal thoughts? Why we have so many fears? Simply they are indicating that we are disconnected from the life. Be it young people, any age, teenagers, or even young adults,
Yeah.
or even grown-up people, they are just indicating, they are saying from the rooftop that we are disconnected from life. Please don't expect a prescription from any doctor would help. No, it won't, unless you are dedicated to bring about transformation from within. Over to you.
Right. I think that we've touched upon quite a bit. Just quickly summarizing, I mean, we spoke of how even the last 6 months, like you were mentioning, and I want to actually relate that to the aspect of the earlier generation versus now, because I feel like in the last 6 months, so many, like, we've changed in innumerable ways, and things we never imagined of to do are what we are doing, and not just changing and doing, we're also enjoying it in a way. We've kind of adapted ourselves to it, which highlights to me our resilience as humans, which also highlights the fact that we have been able to adapt to a simpler lifestyle. Away from malls, away from shopping, away from restaurants, away from holidays, a simpler lifestyle. And that's also what you were talking about, the difference between the previous generation that didn't have higher degrees, that didn't have foreign education, but led simpler lifestyles and were able to seek happiness or were able to seek contentment from the experiences of life. So
Yes.
somewhere, would it be right to also kind of summarize today's discussion with that thought that we have had a crash course training in enjoying the smaller experiences of life in the last 6 months, and irrespective of what position we were at, irrespective of what colleges we passed out from, we were still doing brought down to doing the simpler things of life, running the household chores, and eventually finding comfort and joy in doing those things. So I'm just trying to relate, draw a parallel between the two things of how the last 6 months also have been a learning experience, and we must kind of look at it as that and move forward. Your concluding thoughts on this?
Last few words. Any education any education, any type of knowledge acquired from any source has to help us gain more and more experiences. We become richer by our experiences. We become happier by our experiences. We don't become happier or richer by our knowledge. If we can't convert knowledge into experience, then we will not be happier. We will not be richer. We will not be able to make other people's life happier or richer. So coming back to the bottom line, seek experiences as many as possible, and experiences are in abundance all around us,
Yeah.
to be gained by us primarily, and experiences of other people who have lived life earlier than us, who were walking on this in this world much earlier than us, be it 100 years back, 200 years back, or be it 10 years older to us. Even people who are 10 years, 20 years older to us, they have much more stock of experiences which we can log in anytime.
Right. Yeah.
So real happy people, real rich people would take the benefit of the experiences from anywhere, from others, as well as their own experiences. The remaining people would remain knowledgeable and would remain miserable. Being highly knowledgeable and not being experienced is a road to being miserable.
True.
Being
Right.
really experienced person, I mean, let me say that being highly knowledgeable and not being practically an experienced person is a road to becoming miserable, and such number is increasing. So number of psychiatrists increasing, number of drugs increasing, number of people who are miserable all over the world is increasing.
Yeah.
And we feel sorry about it. But if you are really experienced person and a practical person, then you are a happier and a richer person.
Yeah.
Then the life is flowing through. You are glowing with the flow of the energy of the life. Then you would be welcome anywhere and everywhere, wherever you would go, in any relationship. Even your wife or husband would adore you because you are a lively person. Many of the people who are listening to this program, they know they can look inside whether they are or they are not. If they are, then why they are, and if they are not, why they are not. It's a simple thing to look inside. Whether the
Right.
energy is flowing through me, life is flowing through me or not. Over to you.
It shows. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, while we all work or wish to work towards self development, it is so important to remember these key aspects, key understandings, and be able to apply them, in at the right time in moments of hardship or otherwise. So, just quickly, like, quick summary of what we discussed today about, growing and learning and growing as both working in tandem, about how when you flow with the circle of life is when you also internally glow, and the importance of connecting with as many different experiences in life as we can, and how when we do that, when we open-heartedly connect with so many different experiences, is when life supports us on its own, and we learn from those experiences and we grow from it. So I hope that everybody has been able to learn as and enjoy this conversation as much as we have today. And thank you very much, Dr. Anand, for sharing your amazing insights with us on this program, and we hope to be able to bring more such interesting conversation to all our viewers. Thank you very much.